A recent study on women in finance paints a picture of opportunity for the few women making a living in the financial industry. I'm joined by Susan Combs, president of Women in Insurance and Financial Services. So nice to see you here.
Good morning.
So you guys did a research study that's actually now all encompassed in a book, and it's called Women at the Top. So there's a lot of interesting stories in here, but I want to delve first into that one nagging problem, and that is there's still too few women in the financial industry. Why are we still at this point?
You know, I really think, when you look at a lot of different studies on how many women are in it, you see anywhere from stats of 8% to 22%. So it averages out to about 14%. And I think in this industry, it's very much male dominated, so the environment's male dominated. The training programs are male dominated. The compensation is male dominated. So I think if we're to change the landscape, we need to shift our way of thinking a little bit to make it more welcoming for women.
When you say male dominated compensation, what do you mean by that?
So typically with financial services, it's an eat what you kill type of mentality. So it's commission based. There's usually no salary programs when it's in production. So for a lot of women, security is a huge thing for them in their income, and especially if they have families and things like that, that can be very scary. So we've seen kind of a shift with some companies doing kind of a hybrid model where they give kind of a training salary for the first 3 years and titrate it down. Those companies have been more successful in bringing more women in.
So what advice would you have for women either in the field now or thinking about moving into the field?
I think for women, they need to hang on for 3 years. And that's what we see when you talk to the 23 women in the book. 3 years seems to be the tipping point. So I think a lot of times people say, oh, if I haven't been a success in 6 months, then I'm going to throw in the towel. I think it's just being patient, look at building those relationships, networking, making sure you get the word out for your name. That can be hugely successful for women in this industry.
And I guess one important point is the potential payoff financially is very, very great. I mean, there were women with astronomical salaries that you talk about.
Yeah, 23 of these women, the majority of them make over $500,000 a year. 4 of them made over $1 million a year consistently, and 2 of them at one point in time, for 1 year, they made over $10 million. So the one thing that when you have all these gender balancing initiatives, commission's commission. You don't have to worry about a commission being a different structure for men versus women. So the sky's the limit if women get involved and pursue this industry.
Are we seeing more companies actively recruit women? We know that women typically manage the household finances. They live longer than men, typically. So are we seeing some of the firms get more proactive?
I think you are. When you look at the stats of there's more women graduating college than men at this point, and like you said, women control the finances, and a lot of women want to work with other women. So we have seen a lot of companies that try to say, okay, we need to get the women, but then they try to use WIFS as the conduit and as the product on the shelf to help them attract more women.
When you looked at all the research, what was the biggest surprise to you in the findings?
I think one of the biggest surprising is when you look at the women that are making $500,000 and above, 94% of those women were married. And I think there's a misconception where you think, oh, the woman's married to her job. And so what that translates for me is that women have a good support system, they have a good team at home, so they can be successful in their field.
How about children?
I believe it was also 94% of the women that had the successful marriages and partners also had children as well. So one of the things that I've seen that's been interesting is everybody talks about work-life balance, but one of the things these 23 women talk about is they say it's not so much work-life balance, it's blending. So they're blending their lives, they're blending their careers and blending their families at the same time.
Susan Combs, thanks so much.
Thank you.
I'm Rhonda Schaffler for TheStreet.